Okay, so now we're going to kind of move on from the Gringo grip, and we're going to use it to transition into another one of my favorite grips, which is going to be the whizzer or the overhook. I'm just going to talk about how to transition from the Gringo grip into the whizzer, but remember that we talked about getting the whizzer in the posture breaking section and also in the grip fighting section, from the pull down, from the hip bump, those kind of things. So I'm going to find myself in that position a lot. For now, we're just going to talk about it off the Gringo grip. So I'm here, I break this grip, I go here. For whatever reason, my game's not working out. He's not giving me a lot of hand here. It's not easy to sit up. And so I'm just going to pull straight with my arms and also with my legs. And look, I'm going to duck my head underneath and come around. I don't want to let go of the sleeve until I grab the collar. Takes a little bit of shoulder flexibility, but if we practice it, we're going to develop that. So once I get the collar, I'm ready to go right there. Once I get here, my go-to is going to be a triangle, and there's a lot of opportunities for that. Once I get this position, the next thing I want to do is I want to control his bicep right here. I always want to control the inside space on this side. Okay, I never want to let him get underneath. It can just be a problem, and it can be kind of a stall sometimes. So I want to go right away. And the way I really control is, again, I use that kind of praying mantis that we talked about before right here. And so what Stephan is going to do is he's going to try to go over, so I just raise. He's going to try to go under, I go down. And then where do you think he's going to go when he goes down? He's going to go back up, and then he's going to go back down. So it's pretty simple to track the guy. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to use my thigh. Turn this way a little bit. I have long legs, so sometimes I can't get my foot right on the hip immediately. So what I want to do is I'm going to use the back of my thigh on the top of his thigh to move my hip a little bit, and then I'm going to put the foot on the hip. Once I get here, I'm ready to go with the triangle. Let's turn back this way, Stephan. So the first thing I'm going to do is his hand is going to be here. I'm just going to control. I'm going to slide my foot out to the hip, and you see how I move my body? And then I'm going to slide my leg out and over into the triangle. So once I get here, we talked about the basic finish in the Gringo grip section, and I can go right to that here. But because I'm operating from a whizzer, sometimes he wraps this arm around. That's real common because he's so tight already. So what I want to do is I still want to progress into getting my figure four set. So I still want to control the head. I still want to move to the ankle. I am still going to put my foot on the hip and move until I can lock this down and get my figure four locked. So he's big. He's even going to be kind of prying down. I can get the lock, but it's going to be difficult for me to actually close off the space and finish. You know, Stephan's okay in there. He's breathing, no problem. So what I'm going to do is a technique. I'm just going to push the fist into the neck. And I used to not really like this. I thought it was kind of a kind of a rough move. But if you put it in there with a little bit of, you don't punch the person. You place your hand there, and then you put the pressure. There's nothing wrong with it. So what I want to do basically is I want to take my fist, and I'm going to put it right in his neck. So instead of choking him with the shoulder, because his arm is crossed over, I'm just going to replace the shoulder with the fist. So my hand slides right under. I'm going to push in the neck. I'm going to control the head. And I'm going to squeeze my knees together, pull the head down, and push my fist into his neck. It's really strong.
And that's actually not a pain submission. That's a blood choke. And I would, if you held that for longer, I would be unconscious on the floor right now.
And that's actually one reason that I started doing it. I initially saw that kind of, I just call it the fist punch, even though I'm not really punching the guy. You can call it the dim mak if you want to, the death touch. That's a good one. But I saw it on a website one time, and it was quite a long time ago. And I was kind of like, I'm not going to do that. It's kind of a rough move, or maybe a big guy move. And I didn't like it. But then, just like you said that you felt like you would go out if I kept doing it, I actually saw that happen. I saw somebody go unconscious with that. And I started thinking about the mechanics of it. And what happens basically is, if I do a triangle, my legs on one side, your shoulders on the other. Well, all I'm doing is replacing the shoulder with my fist. The leg is still there.
Yeah, you're not placing it on my trachea.
Yeah,
You're putting it on the artery of the vein.
That's right. I'm not, it's not an eagle claw. You know what I mean? It's nothing like that. I'm not Patrick Swayze. This is not Roadhouse. I'm not pulling it out, okay? I'm just using the fist, and again, I'm replacing the shoulder with the fist. So again, if I set up that wizard from the Gringo grip, it was here. I broke the grip, I turned it under, now I want to pull, duck my head under, come all the way around. Again, keep hold of that wrist or that sleeve until I get my hand set right here. Now, once I get set, I'm going to bring my hand on the inside control, then I want to use my thigh, then my foot, and now I'm going to, let's turn this way, you can see. So I have one foot on the hip already, I'm right here. I'm going to slide out.
What do you do if the arm's real tight here initially and you're having difficulty getting that knee out?
If I can't get it out, or are you talking about once I get it out, I get here? I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So it's like right there. So what I need to do is I need to move my hip. It's not about me pushing his arm away. It's about me holding his arm where it's at, and if I lock my arm out, he's not going to bend it back. So if you're tight here, I'm going to be right here. Now what I need to do is use my foot on the hip, and I need to push and come there. So it's more about me moving my hip away. But when I get here and I still have this inside control, once I get there, look, on a basic level, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to pull the leg all the way out and over. Once I get here, 1, 2, I still want to go there, but again, a lot of time he wraps that around. If he didn't, I would go for my basic finish, which we already talked about. So once I get here, he's wrapping that around. I control the head, and I can move his collar so you can see a little bit. That's where I want to be. I take the fist, I put it right in his neck, and I'm going to pull down, push, and squeeze my knees together. And again, as long as you're not punching into that position, it's not really that rough of a move, as long as also you're not attacking the windpipe with the trachea. So I'm back in the wizard, and his arm's going to start like that. So it makes it easy for me to slide out as if I wanted to go to the same the technique we just previously learned. But sometimes when the guy grabs, I still want to try to back away. But you see how he kind of loops over there? I really can't pull my leg out. And actually for me, because my legs are long, sometimes it's hard to pull it all the way out and around. So I have a really nice finish that I use here. I want to control his wrist just like that. Once I can, and a lot of times people are tempted to do this. I really like to hold this way, and I can still control the hand like we talked about before if he doesn't have a grip on my pants already. But most of the time, I just control the wrist here. So what Stephan wants to do is lock my leg to his body. If I can't get it out and around, I can't triangle him, and he's right. But he's always going to squeeze. So if I was able to somehow instantly take my leg away, his arm would go right into his own body, and then I could triangle it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Once I get here, the harder he holds, I'm going to shoot my leg through. Bam. And now I just go out and around. And it's going to help me. The harder that you squeeze, it's actually easier for me to do. Because when you're pulling, when that leg disappears, you're like that. And that's the perfect triangle situation. So I'm here. I have a good grip. Look how I adjust my hip. When I do this particular finish, I want to come back underneath the guy. That way I can lift my leg up here. I don't want to kick it through right now. So I have 2 feet on the hips here. I want to lift it up and I kick it straight through. Just like that. Boom. One thing that I see a lot of when I teach this to my students, they're hyper focused on trying to bring their leg out and around the arm, but you don't need to do that. When you kick it through, it's going to be on the outside already. All you need to do is bring it over the top. He holds tight. Look, adjust your hip more. Kick it through. It's out on the outside already. Bam. And then from here, I can go to the basic finish if I need to. So I want to control, feed. 1. His arm's in the way a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and lift my hip up and cross it over. Control. Hook underneath. and squeeze, and get a good submission. This is actually, I probably use this particular finish more than any other triangle setup, I think. This is a really, really high percentage move for me. So much that I was thinking about not showing it. I really didn't want to show it. But I started thinking, I've been doing it for a long time. I think people kind of know that I'm doing it anyways. And and I wanted to make the best product available, so I went ahead and threw it in there. But I can tell you, in the beginning,
It hurt.
at the beginning, I wasn't going to do it, man. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to show the other things. I'm not going to put this in there. But, you know, I'm glad I did it now. You know, I really am, because it's a technique that it helped me so much. You know, it could definitely have been on the Game Changers DVD, but I wanted it to include it to this section because it was kind of interchangeable. I couldn't really show the other stuff without including this, and that's why I decided to put it in, and that's why I didn't hold back.
Well, on behalf of them and me, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. You got it, man. It's all you. Come on, Bob. Finish it. Finish it. Finish it. Let's go. Finish it. It's all you, man. It's all you.
You got it.
There you go. He's got it.